Welcome to another edition of Our City. A few things going around the city of Elizabeth this week. On Wednesday, May 2nd at 9 o'clock, I'm going to attend the National Day of Prayer ceremony. This will be on the front steps of City Hall. It is organized by Councilman Carlos Cedeno and other pastors throughout the city of Elizabeth. On Thursday, May 3rd at 5 o'clock, the Jefferson Park Preschool Art Show. This will be located at 485 Madison Avenue, and these kids do a great job in some of their artwork. On Friday, May 4th at 1 o'clock, I'm going to join members of the Mexican community and other residents of Elizabeth for a special celebration of Cinco de Mayo. I know, I get it. May 4th is not Cinco de Mayo, but it falls on a Saturday, so we're going to celebrate it in Elizabeth on Friday. And as part of the celebration, we're going to raise the Mexican flag in front of City Hall. And later that evening at 7 o'clock, Councilman-at-Large Frank Cuesta will host his 12th annual Elizabeth Promise Awards Dinner. It will be held at the Renaissance Newark Airport Hotel. And Elizabeth Promise is a 501c3 tax-exempt organization created solely for the purpose of raising funds for deserving high school students from Elizabeth who will be attending college or post-secondary education. For more information, please call Councilman Cuesta at 908-578-3567 or email him at elzorro, ELZORRO, at optonline.net. And on Monday, May 7th at 5 o'clock, I'm going to host a pizza party in my office for winners of the If I Were a Mayor for the Day essay contest. A lot of young kids were really excited on writing these essays. If you need additional information concerning these events or any other events, please call our Public Information Office at 908-820-4124. Please stay with us after these messages, where I'm going to talk with members of the Puerto Rican community in the city of Elizabeth who are planning a celebration of Puerto Rican heritage with parades and flag raisings at the end of June and early July.
We have some of the finest teachers in the country. And then they graduate. Kane University.
Welcome back to Our City, and I'm pleased to be joined by Miss Lilian Caparruva. Lilian, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Miss Jessica Martinez.
Thank you for having me, Mayor.
And former Councilman Carlos Alma of the 4th Ward, and also a former member of our Board of Education.
Thank you, Mayor.
Carlos, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, all three of you, by the way, I asked you before the show, you're of Puerto Rican descent on both sides of the family.
Yes.
Correct. Yes.
Yes.
And Jessica, you're the only one born there?
Yes, I had the privilege of being born in Puerto Rico.
So what area of Puerto Rico?
I'm in the southern part, Salinas.
So do any of you have family there, and how are they doing after the storm?
It's been pretty hard since the Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico.
Right.
Yeah, but they're resilient. Puerto Ricans are resilient and they're fighting, so they're doing pretty good.
Yeah, my
Lilian,
grandparents
your grandparents
are there. They own a couple of houses there. I have aunts and cousins. I went in November to help my grandparents help rebuild or, restore whatever was damaged. And they were in good spirits. I was surprised.
Do they have electricity?
They didn't have electricity, but my grandmother's like, this is a blessing. I go, how is it a blessing? She said, well, look at the world today. Everybody is in their cell phones. You don't know your neighbor. This forced us to come together, to eat together. And this is what we needed. And little by little, they're doing better. They're doing better.
And Carlos, you told me your 95-year-old father is still there.
Yes, he's there. My father, my brother's right next door to his house. I have plenty of cousins. Fortunately, no more uncles or aunts. They're all passed away. But, we got plenty of cousins in the area. And they're in the Aguadilla area, which is the northwest part of the island. They didn't have electricity for about a month. They were one of the lucky ones that were able to get the electricity faster. But there's still some parts of the island that doesn't have any electricity, mostly in this central part, which is the mountainous area of the island, that some of them don't even have water yet. Nice. But they're resilient, like Jessica said, and they make one way or another. They find a way of getting things done, and go back to the old way of doing things.
Absolutely.
Good. So, Jessica, tell me about the Puerto Rican Alliance of Elizabeth and your titles and roles and who's who.
So I am the vice president of the Puerto Rican Alliance. Lilian is the secretary, and Mr. Carlos Alma is the sergeant at arms.
Well, you got a good one for Sergeant at Arms. And who's the president of the organization?
Carlos Torres.
Oh, the councilman in the first ward is the president.
Yes, he is. He was the one that originated.
Well, he's been
Puerto
very
Rican
active
Alliance.
in bringing together the Puerto Rican community. There's a lot of people here, and there's been no combined efforts, and he's kind of taken the bull by the horns in a way.
Absolutely. I mean, the first time we raised the flag, it hasn't been raised for like 10 years. So this Puerto Rican Alliance been incorporated 3 years now, going on fourth year. So this will be our 4th year raising the flag.
Now, you were all involved in the original meetings, Lilian?
Yes.
Yes.
And did Carlos get voted in as the president or what?
No, he actually
He put it together.
he put it together,
Okay.
and we've been growing ever since. It's
So what's the
amazing.
purpose of the organization besides just doing flag raisings and parades? What's the overall purpose?
We
of
want to
it?
bring unity. We want to bring cultural awareness. We want to bring the pride back into our community, and not just in our community. I mean, we've had overwhelming response of organizations helping us out. Our first responders, we have state troopers, Elizabeth Police Department, the Elizabeth Fire Department that have reached out to us. We have organizations from Newark that reached out to us. How can we help you? We want to be a part of your organization. We want to help you make a difference. We want to unite as one voice. You know,
Coming together.
together, yes.
So before we get into the events, you helped raise money and efforts in Puerto Rico from the hurricane. Carlos Torres, the councilman, was a major force in that.
Yes.
I saw him loading up a truck with a forklift with stuff, and I saw all of you wrapping
Yes.
pallets.
Well, we started first collecting donations, non-perishable foods, first aid kits, Pampers, wipes. After, I think we collected enough for like 5 containers.
Yes,
Correct.
yes, we had over 50 pallets of just I think water alone.
Water alone.
And we had an overwhelming response from the community from all over, different neighboring cities that came together.
Dover, Perth
Yes,
Amboy.
absolutely. Dover, Perth Amboy, Newark, even as I think it was like Patterson
Patterson, yes.
came down, and residents of the city of Elizabeth that were not Puerto Ricans, that were just felt compelled to help and get together.
Their children, they just came and started helping. It was beautiful to see the children.
It was a beautiful.
No, I was there that day, and I was amazed at the assembly line, I guess, of packages you had.
Because we were sorting
For
out
lack of a better
boxes,
word.
exactly, canned goods.
Looked like organized
Pampers.
chaos, but you're all doing something.
Yes,
Everybody,
absolutely.
the
And
children,
everything helps.
The children
Every
were
little bit
excited
helps.
because they knew they were doing something positive. They knew
My
that
niece
they were
and my
helping.
nephew came up from
Yes, they were.
Powell. They're only 9 years old, and they came up to help out. And I was like,
And they did a great
I was
job.
surprised to see them there. I didn't know they were coming up.
Yes.
So, all of that got there, by the way?
Yes.
Yes.
Carlos?
Yesterday was another container arrived in Puerto
The
Rico.
last one, I think.
The last one. That's the 10th container in cooperation with other organizations. So there's a church in Carteret that we partner with, and the last one arrived yesterday, and we got pictures, and it's on the Facebook page. We're going to post it on our website so people can see that we're still working.
It took so long to get the containers there because they couldn't receive it, as opposed to us, we couldn't ship it, right?
Yes, that's
Jessica?
that was a big issue. First of all, getting the stuff there. Many people collected. Many organizations made an effort to collect, but once the time came to ship it, it was a struggle because the containers were not released. They were not able to release it in Puerto Rico, and so it took us a little bit to
Or the
to get that
containers would
information.
get there, sit there, and until those containers were emptied out, they couldn't send it back for us to refill them.
Refill them.
So it was a constant.
Logistic issue.
A lot of also because FEMA had to be able to release some of the containers. And so the government of Puerto Rico made special arrangements for certain containers to be let out earlier, especially if they were from a church or a 501c3. They were able to be let out earlier. But still, even with that, they had problems with trucking because they were some of the roads were not passable. So there was a lot of problems just under transportation on the island alone, and the logistics in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
So you collected cash also. When I say cash, checks.
Yes.
And went into an account. How was the money used?
That money was used to rent the containers and also to be able to ship the containers.
Yes.
Nobody's shipping it for free, huh?
No.
Not even if you're a
I believe every shipment was close to $5,000.
$5, yeah.
In order to ship it, to get the container and pay the arbitraries and all that stuff
Right.
that entails to
There's
get.
that special law, the Jones Act, which it has to be on a U.S. ship with U.S. crew going from a U.S. Port to another U.S. port.
I'm familiar with the Jones Act because I used to be in that business, so it's can get complicated.
It is
Yes,
complicated.
So your efforts had to help. Were you able to see it actually go to families?
Yes.
Because I saw pictures.
Actually, the first time Carlos Torres went, and he helped to make sure that it went to the families that really needed it.
He actually hand delivered many of the.
Councilman Torres did.
Yes,
Yes.
Councilman Torres went to the mountains of Villalba,
Villalba.
and they went and hand delivered like water and food, canned goods to the people.
And then in November, when I went back, Sergio Granados and some of the local businesses knew I was going to go help my family. And they showed up at my house with water, food, toiletry, you name it. I took it, I gave some to my family, and the rest, we just drove around and see who really needed it. I mean, we went up to the mountains and you see like help me spray painted on a satellite dish.
Really?
You see a mom just walking, looking for water and going into a little stream just to get water for her family. And we just stop, we take out the waters from the back of our truck and we hand it to them. And it was just trying to help whoever
Never
we
saw
can.
those people.
Exactly.
Again, right? Yeah. So this is an exciting time for the association.
Yes.
You're planning a lot of events. So why don't we start first with the pageant coming up? What is it all about and what's it called? You want to start there, Jessica?
Yes. Well, the pageant is going to take place on May 19th. It's going to be at the Jefferson Arts Academy at 5:30 p.m. Tickets are being sold to attend the event, so you must have a ticket in order to go. We are going to. It's not a contest. It's more of a representation of each pueblo. We call it each city of Puerto Rico. So there's about 80 young ladies who are going to be representing each of their cities at this pageant.
Are these high school students or even
They're
younger?
between the age of 5 and 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and the way we find them is we have our families, our friends, and we also posted it
on our social media.
Social
and many people
media,
reached
and we
out
had
that wanted their children
big
to
response.
represent their cities.
their cities.
So that
So it's strictly limited to girls, though.
yes.
There's no boys competing in this
Well, the
pageant
boys
anyway.
are going to be,
Assisting.
helping out, assisting, escorting the girls.
Oh,
to
they
the-
are?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes. It should
So
be nice.
they have to be of Puerto Rican descent, these girls, or they're just,
Yes.
that's the
Well,
game plan,
yeah,
right?
the
Yes.
game plan is that they are Puerto Rican descent, somehow attached, connected to Puerto Rican roots.
Okay.
Because they're
yes.
representing
The cities
The
of-
city.
Do you think, so how many do you think? you're gonna have?
78.
78.
78 pueblos
Yes.
in Puerto Rico.
And you're going to have 78 young girls?
We're
do
going to
that?
have 78 to 80 girls.
Really?
We'll have two maybe walking. And Lily Duran has been doing a phenomenal job. She's the pageant coordinator along with Nancy Nieves and
Nancy Carrero.
Carrero. We've been
And,
really blessed to have the community help us organize these
So
events.
where did you find all these contestants?
Throughout, well, we publicize it in our social
Social
media,
media.
and we pass the word among our family members and friends, and people are just very excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. I'm just curious whether
We have a big family too, so it's not hard
most
to
of them
find
will be there, huh?
Exactly. It's not hard.
Your kids in it? Your daughter in it?
Yes, my Angelina's in
And
it.
you?
My 2 daughters are
They're
going to
both in it. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So there's 3 right there.
That's
It's
it.
78, right?
And then my niece.
And your niece is
Ruthie.
4 out of 78.
Yeah, Ruthie's
so,
daughter.
before we go to break, is there anything special about this pageant?
Yeah, well, we just want to, it's a cultural pageant, so therefore we are going to be, the girls are going to be performing.
Is it going to be dancing, the native dancing from
Yes,
Puerto Rico?
yes, they're going to be native dances of Puerto Rico. There's going to be performance, and it's just a complete setup so that we can represent our culture and our beauties.
So we're going to take a break, and I know former Councilman Carlos Alma is going to step off, and we're going to bring on Trooper Ray Cruz,
Yes.
who lives in the city of Elizabeth.
Yes, he
and
does.
is active with the Puerto Rican organization.
Yes, he is.
Please stay with us after these messages. I want to thank Carlos Alma for joining us on the first half, and welcome Trooper Ray Cruz for the second half.
We're an American original, dependable, historic, nuanced, with all the comforts of home, even when you're just visiting. So we're celebrating for all that we've left untouched and all that we've changed. A place where the past meets the future.
So consider this your invitation.
We've been celebrating here in Elizabeth for 350 years, and we're just getting started. Welcome back to the second half of Our City, and I'm pleased to be joined by members of the Puerto Rican Alliance here in the city of Elizabeth, and Trooper Ray Cruz of the State Police has joined us. Trooper, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mayor.
So you're an Elizabeth resident as well.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about yourself. How long are you on the State Police? Were you in the military before that? What's going on with you?
I was actually fortunate to work in the school system as a teacher for several years before I joined the State Police. I've now been with the New Jersey State Police for just under 10 years.
10 years.
Yes, sir.
Where'd the time go?
Flies.
Doesn't it? So quick.
Yes.
And where are you stationed? What do you?
Newark Station on the New Jersey Turnpike.
So
Troop
you're
D.
you're on the turnpike every day?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. So if I'm on the turnpike, I can wave to you or go
Yes, sir.
fast or
Yes, sir.
slow down, right?
Yeah, slow down.
Slow
Driving like
down.
you stole it.
Slow down's the best thing to do. So Trooper, how did you get involved in the Puerto Rican Alliance, and what is your role?
Well, fortunate with the New Jersey State Police, we're fortunate to work with a lot of different organizations that are community-based. And with the Puerto Rican Alliance of Elizabeth, they've done a phenomenal job in servicing the community. So once I got wind of what Councilman Torres was doing with the community and the support staff, it spoke volume. So I'm also part of an organization within the state police called the New Jersey Latin American Trooper Society, NJLATS. And I'm also part of the Union County, Hispanic Law Enforcement Association of Union County. So for us, it was easy to work with the Puerto Rican Alliance of Elizabeth because of the great work that they do, not only servicing the Puerto Rican community, but all communities as a whole.
And Trooper, you've also been helpful on coat drives in our city as well.
Yes, sir.
With the board, how do they go? How's the generosity of people in dealing with that?
It's phenomenal. We work with Wakefern Food Distributor, which was initially established here in Elizabeth. We work with Macy's, Target, Old Navy, Cummins, which is out of Kearney. There's so many people, especially at Heart's Length. Like I said, there's so many people that make this feasible, not to mention without my command staff allowing me to take part in it, a lot of that wouldn't be feasible. And of course my family, because with me taking part in that, I'm absent at home. So my wife is the glue that binds everything together.
I hope she's watching. So on June 8th, you're hosting a gala. What's the gala for, and what are some of the details of this event? Jessica, you want to start that?
Well, the gala is our first gala after 4 years that we've been long waiting for it and working hard to come to this point. It's a fundraiser, of course, to create funds for our parade that's going to happen in July 8th. And so it's going to be at the Winfield Scott Plaza in Broad Street. And we're going to have live band. Joey Vega is going.
comedian.
The comedian is going to be the MC of the night, and there are tickets available. We're hoping that the community comes together and supports our first gala. And we hope to see everyone there.
So, what do you think, Lilian? You're gonna be there, right?
Well, I can't be there, our first gala. My daughter's performing at the Prudential Center.
I can't be there either because I'm in Boston at a meeting. Since we're telling tales out of school here.
My daughter's performing at the Prudential Center for American Children with Voices, American Voices, where all the students from around the world get together and sing as one. Okay. It's beautiful. It's amazing.
Well, if I wasn't in Boston, I'd probably be at both events.
Yes, it's great.
So, tell me about the honorees for this event and how they were chosen.
Well, we sit together.
Are you allowed to say it at a time or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we sit together as a board and we look at who's made a difference in our community.
And you're all drinking rum and cokes?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm kidding.
Coquito.
Cuba Libre.
Coquito.
Cuba Libre Coquito.
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 You brought some coquito over for the holidays.
Yes.
And you freeze it?
And you freeze it and it's amazing.
I know you brought it over in
yeah.
a Johnny Walker Blue bottle.
And we don't want to talk what happens after that, I remember. But we sit down and we look at the honor. We look who to honor, what they've done in the community, what difference they have made in people's lives, whether it's through education, through
Community service.
community
So who are
service.
some of the honorees?
We have our own Ray Cruz.
We knew he was here for a reason. Is
Yeah.
to
Yes,
just talking about
but
this day.
I've worked with Ray Cruz when we've had
Many
families
enjoys.
from Puerto Rico come around Thanksgiving, and they were in the hotels with no food, and we got together with Ray Cruz, and he helped us get turkeys and hot meals for these families. How many families, Jessica?
There was about 12, 13, no, 25 families.
25 families.
We actually gave two of them a job at Councilman Torres,
Yes.
at least a part-time job to help them.
Yes, yes.
And
it
it's
has
nice
been-
to see them because they're so excited and they're
And
so
grateful.
happy and
They're
so
very
grateful.
grateful.
You see
Yeah.
them every day. They're like, "Good morning."
Well, you know who they are. I don't even know who
Yes,
they are.
I know who they are because
You-
we worked close
Right.
with them since they've
Yeah.
And
been
they're
here.
in City Hall?
Yes.
Yes.
Probably meet who they are.
Yeah, they're in the afternoon shift from 3
On
to
the
11.
afternoon shift?
Yes.
Okay. And they're not on my floor then. Maybe that's why I don't see them.
Yeah.
Are they on the first
They're
floor?
the first floor.
Okay.
But
And they're very grateful for the
Ray,
opportunity and the
Ray,
help.
anytime that we need him, he's there.
As he said,
He's an Elizabeth guy.
He's an
Yeah.
Elizabeth guy, but he's there and he makes it happen.
So, Ray, Trooper, are both your parents of Puerto Rican descent?
Yes, sir. They actually reside there now.
They reside in Puerto Rico?
Yes.
So I asked Jessica and Lilian in the first half, as you heard, how are they doing? Your parents?
They're doing well. They're fortunate. They were able to retire here, and they went there for multiple reasons. But through the grace of God, they're able to continue forward, progress. Both my parents are very active within the churches around the area, so they're always they live more in the northwest part of Moca, originally from San Lorenzo. So
Was that not as impacted as?
San Lorenzo? It was impacted very much so. I went with the New Jersey State Police for 2 weeks to assist out there, to help out the fellow troopers of Puerto Rico with traffic and other items, to assist a lot of the families here back in New Jersey. Once we got word that they were out there in need of food and water and medical supplies. As a type 1 diabetic, what I did, I was able to work with several people, also to take a lot of diabetes, things that were able to help them out. A lot of the people had no access to social media. So what we would actually do is go to different places, find out if they were able to get a hold of a family member here in the mainland. They would relay the message to us, and then we would do the best job possible to provide them something with insulin. I know it runs rampant in my family, so we did the best we could. But in Moca, where they're from, it was, depending on the area, thank God my parents weren't as affected as others.
Okay.
and this is why we're giving him the Outstanding Role Model
Yeah, for
Award.
going there for 2. Yeah, that's great.
He's
Absolutely.
amazing.
So tell me about the flag raising that's going to happen the date at the end of June.
It's going to June 15th. at 5
It's the
o'clock.
middle of June, okay.
Yes.
June 15th at 5 o'clock in front of City Hall. We're going to raise our flag.
We always have good attendance at the
We
parade.
do.
Yes.
Because you
And
get to
every
raise it
year
in the
just-
summer months, right.
Every year we
and we
have-
give them a good show.
Yeah, we do.
Well, I like the young girls that dance. They do a great job.
Absolutely.
That's
yeah.
our PRAE kids.
They're kids from the
Yeah, Puerto Rican
so,
Alliance kids.
So are these kids part of the pageant too, I guess?
Yes.
Some of them?
Yes.
Yes, some of them
Okay.
are.
And then we have the parade.
Then we have the parade.
Yeah. First time.
Yes, our first parade.
Oh,
Our first
parade.
Puerto Rican parade. We're
love
very
parades.
excited. Oh, I bet you do.
But we have how many floats? About 8 or 15.
Yes, 8 to 15 floats. We have. It's going to be a little different than all the parades because instead of going from, usually they go from Union Avenue towards City Hall. We are going from 7th Street
To the
towards
waterfront.
the waterfront, where we are going to have a family cultural
Cultural
parade. Festival. that
At the
day.
waterfront.
At the waterfront. Yes.
And there we're going to have at the top Bowles Field, we're going to have bouncies, face painting, and it's free to the community. This is why we raise funds, not only to pay for the expensive, but to have, to let the community come and enjoy themselves for free.
As a
no
family,
charge. As a
together.
family.
There's going to be
What
performance.
other events are planned for that day? What else is going on?
We have a Jeep show.
Jeep.
Yes.
Jeep. So it's about 300 Jeeps.
That are going to be.
I got in
That are
trouble with
going to
those
be
Jeeps
there.
last year.
You did.
Well, they're going to be in their best behavior.
Yes, we promise.
And there's also live
It wasn't my
bands.
fault. It's just,
No.
we had an emergency going on.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You remember, Jessica?
Yeah. But there's going to be also live bands, live performance, singers, cultural.
So why don't we do this in June, by
dances.
the way?
June is La Noche de San Juan.
Which is celebrated on June 27th
Mm-hmm.
in Puerto Rico. It's a big night where people come together at night and they go to the beaches or to the water, bodies of water, and they do
walking
something like a
backwards,
ritual.
Like a ritual.
That day is very important to a lot of Puerto Ricans, so that's why it means so
So
much.
it's a
to do
day
in
that's
June.
important to Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico, and you just and you're bringing that culture
Back.
here
Yes.
to where
Here.
you live,
Exactly.
and keep it going.
We want to keep our
Yes.
culture alive, yes.
So I just want to thank you all for being on the show this
Thank
evening.
you for having us. And
No,
thank
I-
you for always supporting us.
No, I think it's going to be great. I mean, we haven't done a lot of Puerto Rican events, and there's a lot of Puerto Ricans that have helped build our city for the last 50, 60 years. So I
Absolutely.
think it's important that
It is.
that you all come together. But somebody's got to do the work, and
Yes.
obviously,
And
you
we're
three
happy
and
to
others
do
are
it.
doing
And
it.
we're
Yes,
happy to
we're
do it.
happy to
Even
do
if
it.
we have to knock door to door and invite the families ourselves, come join us.
And if I may interject, as a recipient, I also want to thank the Elizabeth Police Fire Departments, Union County Sheriff's Department, and the Union County Corrections.
Absolutely.
Because it's one of those things that we're given an opportunity to be proactive within the community. Anyone can pull over a car, hand out to a family whose house is burning down or whatever the case may be, and it allows us as public servants to give back in a much more positive light. And since we've been doing this for the last 8-9 years, these entities of public servants have been phenomenal. So I definitely personally
you.
would like to thank them
And giving their
for their
time.
service.
Thank you.
Mayor, thank you so much for all the support, and we want to thank the City of Elizabeth and
And
the
the-
Union County because
co-sponsoring.
for co-sponsoring this event. Thank you so much.
I want to thank Jessica Martinez for joining me on the show, Ms. Lilian Caparruva, Trooper Ray Cruz, and Carlos Alma, who was on the first segment, talking about the events of Puerto Rico as well as the celebration of their culture here in the city of Elizabeth. We'll see you next week on another edition of Our City.
We're creating tomorrow's jobs today. Kane University.